Okay, howdy howdy. We're going to try this again. This is our third attempt at a build demo. So we've learned a number of things we shouldn't do during a build demo. So first up, map. This is the map we're going to do. Pretty standard, tier 16. Couple notable things: burning ground and crit, not too bad. Um, what is going to be miserable is players have 50% less cooldown recovery. That doesn't brick us, but it does mean we are going to turn off blink and add a couple 61. So we'll do Reaver. Yeah, we'll do that. The map is going to be a tier 18 essentially. We're going to do Blooming Forest, Corrupted, Irradiated, Map Boss. This has 5 towers hitting it. So let's hope we get lucky. The first attempt at demoing the build hit a map with 14 breaches in it. So I am entitled to another of these, obviously. This is going to be a little weird. I haven't done a run without blink turned on in quite a long time. But yeah, blink is not the play with let's see, how much minus cooldown reduction does this end up being? Yeah, 72% less. Yeah, don't blink with that. Not worth your time. So if I die, it's 100% because I haven't played without blink in a while. And no other reason, obviously. I could never, I'm a perfect player, so. Well, it doesn't look like we hit the jackpot, so we don't have that going for us. This build has been, honestly, really fun. I've had a really good time experimenting with this. Um, I am a little confused by the people saying that it just doesn't have good clear. I admit it's not like, you're not Spark Sorcerer or anything, but like Minion builds have never been anywhere near that good in PoE. So it's a little surprising to me to see people saying that this doesn't, you know, handle breaches at all. One of the things I really like about the build, it's extremely tanky. You can really, I highly value being able to play pretty brain off, and I'm sure, as you can see here, I really wish those didn't make the vowel sound, but such is life. I mean, I say that, but it's my own, you know, I should go fix my loot filter. God knows. Um, what I really like about this build, very, very chill, very, very durable, and pretty generous when you fuck up, to be honest with you. Like, it really, you know, there's a lot of room to play less than perfectly. For a second, I thought I hit a greed shrine, and I was like, oh, let's cancel that. Um, there's a lot of room to play both really aggressively. You can't really see it because I've had to turn blink off for this map, but like, I can run straight into this pack, get well ahead of my minions, and I'm not really, you can see no, really not any significant threat to me. When we actually trigger the breach, it should show a little better, assuming our breach isn't in the world's worst spot. But yeah, you can see me like just I can I could be blinking straight forward here, well ahead of my minions, and I would have zero fears. And this isn't a tier 18. Like this is about as hard as it gets. The map mods on this aren't particularly difficult, admittedly. Burning ground and crit could be much worse, but it's also not free either. You know what I mean? Like it's I don't know. Do. I've been trying the shock mages again. I know everybody swears by them, but I just It seems like they never land shock on anything. And like things die so fast anyway. I kind of feel like I'd just rather have archers. Like there we go. It finally got its first shock off, but like it's 100 spirit to be using on a damage amp that admittedly, fair enough. I don't usually see this almost die here, so maybe I shouldn't talk shit. I guess once they finally landed the shock, they. Oh, because it's ignited. Once it's ignited, it persists forever. Right. As soon as they land one shock, it's good. That's fair. That's me. Totally know exactly how my own build works, right, guys? Yeah. Um, no. Wait, is that? No. I don't even know why I'm picking up crossbows. That's just dumb. Or shields. No one uses these. The real build showcase is Zeron managing his inventory, obviously. All right, here's the breach. So, this is for all the marbles. So, I'm not saying this is good because I know Spark does it better and everybody does it better, but for a minion build in a game that normally doesn't really allow minion builds to clear, I really don't feel like this is bad. Like, you can just run the perimeter of the breach, roll straight through everything threatening. Like, here we are, we spiked down a little bit, but as long as things are dying around you, it's very hard to die with as many levels as we have on Grim Dawn or Grim Feast. Like, you can go right into all of this. And like I said, Spark does it better, but minion builds are never going to compete with like hyper meta, like truly screen clearing. And honestly, this is a lot slower without Blink. Blink lets you do a lot more to cover the edges of this terrain. So, yeah, that's what that looks like. I really feel like it's a surprisingly strong build for stuff like breaching. I certainly don't feel like. I don't know. I've seen people say that minions simply can't do breach or can't be successful at breach, and that really genuinely hasn't been my experience with breach. Um, I'll just wrap up the last couple of these, and then we will. I should be more respectful of everybody's time. I won't do any more looting until after we end the video, but really quickly, we'll just wrap up the map so nobody can say we didn't do the whole map. Although, if you can do a breach, you can do anything. Yeah. You really notice the lack of blink. I will say blink is definitely a luxury item, not a. I didn't add blink to this build until I was very deep in the build. And I wouldn't recommend adding it much earlier. So, okay, let's talk about gem links, pretty straightforward. You've got sniper, feeding frenzy, scattershot, fork, martial tempo, heft. Very straightforward. You can swap scattershot and fork for something for single target, but you saw how that looked on the boss. That's a tier 18 map boss with difficulty 4, not difficulty 5, I will note, but same idea. Reavers, mastery, heavy swing, physical mastery, bloodlust, lightning infusion. I have bloodlust on. I have lacerate on the dog for boss damage. This you could swap for whatever else you wanted, honestly. Like, really, I should probably sit down and reevaluate a little bit how these are laid out. Raging Spirits set up for pure fire damage. Fire Pen, Immolate, Elemental Focus, Fire Infusion, Fire Mastery. Very straightforward. The mages doing their thing. Overcharge, Conduction, Stormfire, Lightning Pen. Straight up. Blink. Links don't really matter, just cooldown reduction. Eye of Winter. I need to remember to swap this for lower projectile speed, but you know what yeah. It's all the same thing. Wall of Fire gets mobility, which is what actually worth calling out because you cast it a lot. That's definitely a nice QL thing. Equipment, +3 Trench Timber, going for a +4 soon. The Just as a note, the double socket Corrupt is very inexpensive, well worth it. Extra 15 free spirit essentially. Double Ventors. I got these back when they were under 2 div each. Nowadays they're much more expensive. Nothing I can do about that, but I do highly recommend them. They combo with a new Ingenuity to give you a lot of free spirit. Like these 2 rings on my belt work out to nearly 100 spirit for, well, nearly 70 spirit for me. This is spirit and lots of ES. I have another one in the bank that is 950 ES and no spirit. I honestly like this better. I really like this recoup corruption. I've been saved several times since I added it, because by the time they get through my 20k ES, I've actually got a lot of recoup built up, and it's very hard to actually finish me. I'm pretty much only dying, like, well, I haven't died in a long time. I haven't died since level 94, and I'm 96 now, but when I did die last, it was to a one-shot that took me straight from mid-range ES to dead. Well, not a true one-shot. It was like 17 explosions because I was being an idiot. But gloves are bad. Boots are pretty bad. These are just workhorse slots. Whatever you need on them is what you need on them. Scepter, very straightforward. Top priority minion skills, then spirit, then increased damage. This is the one slot I might consider doing dropping a minion skill level on. +4 minions with a high allies in your presence deal more damage roll and a high spirit roll is probably better than +5 and none of that. Like, the allies in your presence is a big part of your total damage. If you take a look at my minions here, let's just pull one up for an example. My minions deal 335% more damage, or increased damage, let's be specific. So this is almost a quarter. As far as increased damage goes, this is pushing a quarter of my total increased damage. That's huge. Not a small thing to get. Especially if you can pick up like a +4 that's over 100% on the increased damage roll. Well worth dropping 1 minion level for, in my opinion. Helm +3, well worth it. Minion levels are god. That's the honest answer. If you can do anything to get another minion level, do it. Amulet, spirit, minion levels, whatever else I could get that was not ridiculous. That's that passive tree. Pretty straightforward. Come up through here, cut around, go up. I've cut all my minion revive speed now that minions auto respawn without the timer when you range them. In my opinion, I kept the 25% from Restless Dead because there's 3 damage nodes behind it. But that's the only revive speed I still have on my tree. I cut all of this stuff. I cut all of this stuff. I'm picking this stuff up for energy shield and then more energy shield up here. My next level fills out my last crit node. Yeah, pretty straightforward node. The notable things, you've got an Against the Darkness. I'm pleased with this corruption, although I wish it had hit spirit. But it's still very happy. Probably one of the few times that Vol or No Balls actually paid off for me. Exciting. Don't ask me how many Ingenuities I've killed. The answer is too many. This is a good spot for it, in my opinion. Sorry, that was what we were actually here to talk about, not the fact that I corrupted it. I used to have it over here. A lot of people use this spot and then pick up these 4 nodes. But I think Trench Timber beats the hell out of a shield. And if you don't have a shield, a lot of these nodes are just dead weight. And honestly, part of my gripe is like this node and this node are pretty much dead weight anyway. So if you put it here, yeah, you do get 7. But you're having to pick this, this, and this that are all pretty mid in my personal opinion. So I go over here and get it there instead. I'm also running 3 Grand Spectrums, which get me an additional 130 Spirit-ish. I'm not so sure about these. 130 Spirit is really nice. 3 gem slots is a lot to pay for it. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to go deal with this trade offer because I actually, would like 100 exalts. So y'all have a good one.